slum housing in poor neighborhoods all around the airport. Sounds about right.
Yep. Yeah, this city actually doesn't have. I mean, this is a, very low population city, but yeah, I actually put the production district down there um, because this is a map that was semi-random generated, and the thing down there looks kind of like a canal, so I figured it would have a bunch of water wheels or something just to make power. Yeah, and some of the missions will be easier to think up, I think, once I have a like an actual region map, because then I'll know where all the rivers go and stuff like that. But I think it'll be fine for the time being. Oh yeah, and one other thing, I have the maintenance log and ledger things, and those are things I'm kind of still experimenting with because Roll20 has limited font, formatting stuff that you can do. So I don't think any of that will be relevant unless we pass the first month. But I think you guys only have like 75 credits of maintenance anyway on the helicopter, and so that won't be. And actually, I don't even think you have to pay that, because the way I have it set up is that if you buy an item that requires maintenance, then the first month is free basically. But yeah, so I started us off on January for just ease, I guess. And then that's when you guys did all your shopping, and then 2 days later, all of your stuff arrives in the mail, and and then, oh yeah, and then I went ahead and updated the news up to January 3rd. Let me make sure I have all the stuff for there. Yep, that should be everything. Right now I'm generating 3 news stories per month for each of those networks, and they arrive at different times in the month. And those are just headlines, so you can basically look up information, but which is kind of a socially thing, which I know neither of you, maybe you're super keen on that, but it's just stuff that's going on, which you can choose to act on, or you can choose to wait around a little bit and see if work comes to you, basically. But yeah, the headline, you start off with a headline, and then I have another sheet of paper basically that details under the headline if you decide to go digging into that stuff, but it's all stuff that's going on kind of in the background.
So the Feldman Network says it gives you the real truth. Does it actually give you the real truth, or is it like InfoWars real truth?
I mean, you can find out. They have a story coming up pretty soon. You can decide what truth is when you see it. I mean, yeah, it is kind of an InfoWars inspired thing, though. I kind of have it set up like the top one is going to be basically corporate news, and then the medium one is a bunch of like local stations that are kind of low budget and kind of pulling the resources together, and then you have like a crazy out there conspiracy theory thing.
It's funny. There's a stop sign near my house where someone stuck an Infowars.com sticker on it.
Yep.
I'm not saying it was the house a couple blocks over from me, but the house that has a "No Libtards Allowed" sign on it seems a little suspicious.
Yeah, I just imagine someone like holding the InfoWars card, looking at him, and he's just trying to, sitting there trying to play innocent, assuming he did it, and yeah, it's just funny to me. A dead giveaway. But yeah, as I recall, I think I think we got the 2 main things I remember you guys buying was a helicopter and a shear rifle.
And just got some like smaller thing.
Yep.
Solar recharger, Atmo filter, low light goggles. I think Simo got high-end binocular.
Yeah, I actually, and in the mod section, I put in a thing for camo and stealth. And originally, I had it like subdivided way more. Like I had thermal dampening to hide from that type of stuff and radar deflection and all that. But I just decided that, visual, obscuring yourself from vision and obscuring yourself from advanced sensors was, enough, basically, especially if you're gonna, it's, I think, complicated enough for what this game allows.
Can our slogan be "Modern problems require tactical solutions"?
Yeah, sounds like a good motto.
Or does that mean not exist in this timeline?
It would be a fitting name since we eventually plan on being able to do anything. A place here where we could actually register as a company. I figured if we officially register as a company, we might get more government/corporate jobs coming our way too.
Yeah, that could be done. I actually did write you guys up an attorney, and originally I was going to have you guys roll connect for him, but then I saw that you both had -1 connect, so I figured, you know what, this would be, we can start off here, and with just a bare minimum social guy, and I think that'll be the best way to go.
I mean, I've got a 0 for talk. I'm making progress. I'm getting there.
Yep. Like I said, I can put this attorney guy up there, and he can do the basics.
I've got 1 point. I can put that into connect. Give myself another 0.
Yeah. So, on January the 1st, you did your shopping. The 3rd, your goods arrived, and so, you technically haven't done anything yet on the 3rd, as far as I know. So you could go ahead and spend a day to, basically put an attorney on the payroll, or anything else you guys want to do.
Yeah, me being a sneaky sniper, being a social butterfly is never, ever, ever going to be in my repertoire. Just by the very nature of the character.
Yep. So this guy, local lawyer, run you 25. Let's see, let me do some number crunching here. Yeah, so he's 25 a day, but you won't need. I don't think you'd need to pay for him that much to just have him on retainer. So I think what I'll probably do is we can add them onto the contacts once we got them. So I'll say you guys put the word out that you want a lawyer, I guess is how we'll just go with that. I'm just feeling my way around. I guess because normally this would be a connect thing, but I think I'll just, because this is a small town, you guys just go to the local lawyer. Alright, you guys in your contact thing, which isn't completely formatted yet, but I just went ahead and put this character in there. You have Zara Voss, attorney at law. He's a +2 professional, and he works for 25 credits per working day.
I almost forgot about that, the Denny Fort.
Oh yeah, I mean that's still a thing in there. I actually meant to bring it up last session, but I forgot. Yeah, I was actually watching an Only War game recently, and they were joking about the min-max logistics build, where your group starts off with an Earthshaker cannon or something like that.
I would think an artillery regiment would be boring to play in, but then you got to remember that Cyphus Kane was part of an artillery regiment, and look what happened to him.
Yep. All right. So, unless you guys want to look through some other stuff, we can move the time forward, or we can, build something, or do, unless you guys want to do anything, basically.
We've got some ideas for our new property, but I think we probably need to do another job first before all in on it.
Yeah. In fact, we can we can say that when you guys went and like up to the public building, the equivalent of a courthouse or something in this city, and you got registered as an official entity, then that could be where you picked up your attorney, and yeah, we can call that day 4, and you guys, you know, if you need work, basically, you can just wait around.
In downtime, can I try and find out more on the Denny Fort?
Yeah, you can do that. Give me just a second. Alright, let me look up the skills for doing this type of research. Should probably be int and something another. Yeah, this would be an int and no if you want to do your own research, I believe. Alright. Yeah, so you find that there's basically there's nothing that fits Denevorte on or Denevort on any of the media networks that you've browsed, and all you know, from what I recall, when you found the compad or the data slate, I believe that it was on, all you know is that it looked like a random group of vagrants in a warehouse were using it, and it appeared to be some type of communication network.
Was it Denny Vorte or Denny Vort? I couldn't remember.
I think it was Denevort.
So is it more like the Tor browser? Is that what it basically?
Yeah. Actually, that was kind of what I was getting at. Where with a 5, you basically don't find any evidence of it on any mainstream sources, and in order to, you know, your research would have to be just a tad bit better, in order to get into any deep networks or find any addresses that might lead you into it. And to solve that, you could either spend another day, or you could, of course, hire someone else to do research if you wanted it found faster. Alright, so I've updated the calendar and we're going on. You want to continue on to the next day?
Probably just keep trying to figure it out myself.
Yep, sounds good. Alright, so let's see. January 5th, there is a new headline that I'm going to add. Alright, so a group called Rag Hall, which is a guerrilla group. You know, you have a headline of them seizing an isolated village, and we're going on to the 5th day. So you can choose to, you know, do anything you want, obviously, or you can continue looking into Denevort if you want, and do another roll for it.
Does it say who, like, the village belonged to? Was it an Australian village, or?
Yep, so I have a bunch of bullet points, and I basically, the way I'm thinking of doing this is, like, the first question you ask, I give you the bullet point for free, and then further questions will, you know, require research, basically, into, you have to dig through and figure out, you know, what's really going on, you know? So if you want that to be your question, you want to know who the village belonged to, and you know, why it might have been seized.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, it's basically a homesteader village. Like, you know, most of the idea is that there are a couple of different wars that happened over the last few decades that kind of set the stage for how the planet is now, and the two nations that were fighting over the planet that had to be broken up by an interstellar power. They were the ones that demilitarized the whole area, the Arobi Consortium. And so since most of the planet is demilitarized, you basically have kind of like an Ancapistan thing going on, where there are these farmers that live out like Wild West style, and they're just referred to usually as homesteaders, because they're sort of colonizing the jungles on this planet, and most of them are growing like exotic plants that can only be grown on this planet, stuff like that. And one of those communities has been seized by this group.
Alright then, I want to look into the militia group. See what they're all about.
While he looks into the militia group, I'm going to look more into the village and see if they had ties to any larger powers.
All right. So let's see. All right. So depending on how you want to look into this, it might differ based on your methodology. And of course, you have an attorney that you can hire. Having him work for a day will cost 25 credits, but he has a +2 to anything legal related, and probably a +1 to something that's tangentially related. But yeah, so if you want to go around and ask people, like local social gatherings, that would be like a connect. And if you want to do research, that would probably be a no. And of course, depending on how you want to go about this, it would be your attribute, like probably int no for doing computer research, and like charisma connect if you want to ask around in person. But you can get creative to try and use your good stats and skills, But like I said, if you see like a business opportunity in the news, you can always have your attorney look into it for 25 credits.
And I'll see what I can figure out first just by looking online.
Oh, nice. Let me look up to be sure. That might be 2 bits of information. Yep. Alright, so you were going... what exactly were you looking up, Simo?
The militia group and, kind of what they're all about. Political ideology, all that kind of thing.
Yeah, alright, cool. So, the Reichal, or Reigal, I actually used a generator for a lot of these names, which is why I'm having trouble pronouncing my own fluff, but the let's see. I'm going to say Reichal. The Reichal, they're basically like like an uber royalist. They have an emperor that technically doesn't have any power. He was sort of put onto the sidelines by the peace treaty that was put on this planet so many decades ago. And these are basically a group of guerrilla fighters that are trying to reestablish the emperor as the supreme ruler of the planet. And they're basically known for going around and riling up small communities of people, and they go to fight the Vestralians, competing with the Vestralians' professional military by just throwing tons and tons of irregulars at them, and that's sort of the dynamic. These guys in particular, the Reichal, are known to be very superstitious, and they most of the superstition is surrounding pre-tech and psi technology. They sort of have this belief that psionic potential is sort of what determines the success of nations. And the homesteaders they're holding hostage, let's see here. Yeah, you can't find out any reason as to why they're holding these particular people hostage, but I can give you 2 bits of a timeline here. I'll just paste them in real quick. Alright, yeah, so on January 1st, the communication to the village was shut down by power outage. On January 3rd, a team was dispatched to fix the outage, and the team called for help before being taken hostage. And then, oh yeah, and I'll update it with today's information as well. What I'll paste in just a second is the team has been successfully ransomed back to their company. All right, and Pete, you wanted to research something into this as well?
Yeah, I wanted to look into the village itself, and because they farmers for crops native to the planet, but I want to see sort of who they do business with the most.
All right. Was that the role you had before, or was that a different role?
That first one was the 5 was for the Denny board.
Ah, gotcha. Yeah, you can roll. Yeah, again, no int if you want to do computer research. Oh my god, yeah, nice.
I basically want to find out if we were to go liberate the village, who would feel inclined to owe us a favor? Whose good graces would we be in if we were to help this village?
Gotcha. All right, I'll put in some more tidbits that I have here. I'll go ahead and explain them to you just before I paste them in, so that I don't have to type and all that. But so you know that, and you don't have to worry about spelling these names because, like I said, I'm about to paste them in. But the royal family is called Arundel of the Catalians, and again they're the I guess you could say like impotent rulers. They're like figureheads. But their Justicar Seoras publicly condemned the actions of the Rygal, and that's something that's going on right now. Your super awesome research role was what, you basically got the scoop on that before the papers did. And you also know, this is something else the papers don't know yet, is that Australian flybys have been conducted by the site several times. They look like high-speed flybys, and a couple of them have been chased off by missiles, but there have been no confirmed casualties yet on either side. So the Australians look interested in the site at the very least. And you also know, I'll say, that the 32 homesteaders, they basically made their profit off of growing some type of fungus on these sort of covered domes. And apparently they had a big cash crop coming in because their the amount of money they were making went up by quadruple, basically, between over the course of a month. And that happened a few weeks before the communication was cut off, and there hasn't been any information coming in or out since then.
So they had ties more, was it Catan? Or how was it?
Alright, sorry, I was typing. Yeah, so Rygal, they're like a terrorist cell that are like fanatical supporters of the Arundel. The Arundel Justicar publicly condemns the actions of the Rygal. And so that's kind of the dynamic. They say that these are terrorists, basically, that say that the Arundel should be the supreme leaders of the planet. And the supreme leader of the planet, at least publicly, condemns what they're doing. In accordance with the peace treaty, basically.
And then just the Australians have done flybys because they seem to be interested in the land, or at least the crops.
Yeah, they may be interested in the crops, and they may be interested in the people that they really don't like that are, controlling these crops. But yeah, I pasted it in, so you should see the new tidbits.
Where is the village?
It's about 2 days travel from here by, probably 2 days by car, because there are actually roads that lead up to there. But yeah, and it's also worth noting that just today, like the newspapers haven't even reported on the flybys or the public condemnation by the Justicar, who's sort of he's like a one-man Supreme Court for the Arendelle, and so that's not public knowledge yet. And the repair team was just ransomed, which is just reported. That's just public knowledge. So this is the situation that's basically just developed. The hostage situation has probably only been going on for 3 days, or I guess today's the 5th, so 5 days.
All right, I'm gonna I'm gonna go find. Are Simo and I at our base, or I'm assuming that's where we are, but are we in town?
In the city.
Yeah, you're in town right now. The base hasn't actually. One of the things I thought was funny, you still technically haven't even cleaned the bodies out of your base, but your base also needs a good old fashioned fixing up montage, and then it'll be good as new.
What I was wanting to get another job in for is get us some little extra money, because I've got ideas on that little island itself, not just the base.
All right, so I'm gonna go look for. I don't know if I'm with them, but I'm gonna go find Simo, and I'm gonna tell him that our friends in the Australian military seem pretty interested in the farming village that got taken over. So if we wanted to further our favor with them, if we get the time, if we were to liberate the village, we could better our standing.
Basically Google Map this place, and you said there was a road that headed out that way. Does the road go directly to it, or does it just like go by it and it has its own little access road?
All right, give me just a second. All right, yeah, this is the proper map, and the areas, the two uppermost condensed living areas, those are all, that's all farm equipment and farming pieces. The living quarters is in the southern area. Yep, and the contours in this map represent 20-meter height rather than 10-meter, which is what I have on most of the maps.
There's the city from here.
The city you're in now is 2 days road travel from this location.
Which direction?
Yeah, I'd say sort of north by northwest.
So the city's off in that direction then?
Oh no, you'd be you'd be coming down down this road if you drove straight from the city. Yeah, you'd be coming down this way. You could also potentially come down this way if you're going down a dirt road. It's just a rougher ride.
Stuff up here is just like farming equipment.
Yeah, it's basically, they have these domes that they grow some of the fungus in, like pressurized domes. And some of those red dots are domes, some of them are like silos, and other bits are just garages for farming equipment.
What I think...
road, how fast could we fly there in the helicopter?
Let me check. I feel like I'm doing one of those elementary school math problems right now.
I mean, I guess another thing Simo and I have to think about too is, do we want to do this without knowing what we'll get in return? Or do we want to look for a job that will give us money?
Yeah, so the trade-off there, just to make it clear, I guess, is you guys are currently at an advantage when it comes to knowledge. So you could wait for somebody else to pay you to deal with this problem, assuming someone gives you a job, or you could stumble in there with no promise of getting any money out of it, and potentially be in on something big. There's also the factor that you could potentially gather your own intel, like drone flybys and stuff like that. But it's all up to you guys.
It's kind of what I was thinking. Mines have only been able to do, high speed flybys. Their intel probably isn't all that great. So what I was thinking is, I come in on foot and, at least drive or fly here most of the way. Then a few kilometers out, I come in on foot. There's a helicopter just fly around, circle around all the way to the south. And then I come in foot, basically up this ridge, to where I got a good vantage point. And I just use my drone to scout out, the living areas and the farming areas. And then once I get, more in-depth intel using my drone, we can decide what to do from there.
Yep, and so I got sidetracked for a second, but I finally found the answer. Your helicopter, I believe, can make it there in 8 hours traffic.
Nice. So we could be in and out of, get there, scout, and be home all in one day.
Basically.
Depending on what we find out, if they end up being more than we can take on right now, we could always just contact Starkov and tell him we can update his info if they want a little more.
That was my general idea. If we run into, discover that it's more than what we can handle, we can just, get a hold of our friend in the military and it's like, hey, we've scouted this area out for you and here's what we found. It's more than we can handle, but it's a quick flyby.
Yep. Favor points is just as good as many other types of loot.
Because they said that, didn't they say themselves they were interested in having some contacts in the area?
Yeah, that was the sort of deal with him letting you dig up this mech, or giving you the heads up that it was there. Is he's like, hey, if I ingratiate myself to these guys, maybe they'll pass me along info, because we don't have any men on the ground.
Our best course of action for now is just like fly our helicopter, circle way around this place down to the south, and then I come in on foot up this ridge line, and that way that gives me a good vantage point for the living areas and the farming areas, and I can just send my drone around and get, it's got that observation suite on it, so it's got UV, infrared. It can make out, facial features and conversations, from up to 2 kilometers. And I just park it up here, hell, it'll read conversations and facial features, all up in here. So we could get IDs on some of these guys probably. About and all that shit. I'm sure our good friend in the military would love to have that.
Yep.
All right, so I guess head back to base, gear up, and we'll head out.
All right, so that was the fifth. All those rolls you did was basically a day's worth of research. So you could sleep here another day and then head out in the morning. I'm going to move it forward. Move the time. All right, so you basically got like your normal combat gear, and you load up your drone and head out into the helicopter to get out there, and then so that you can be in range to sort of control and receive data from your drone. All right. So yeah, you guys, and flying is, in fact, let me go ahead and look up something real quick.
I was going to say, do I still need to do pilot roles just for, I guess, casual flying?
Yeah, that wouldn't be necessary. I was just rolling because I actually have a weather section in the hazards, but I haven't detailed it yet. But today is pretty reasonable weather, so yeah, that's another thing with these missions to consider as well. Is you might have 8 days to spare, but then 6 of the days it's like storming really bad. But I set, one of the reasons that January works as such a good month is this is basically like a dry season that I have set up, so you're not going to have to deal with that for a while.
I should also invest in the grav chute. That way I can just fucking halo in.
Yep. Yeah, so you fly out there with no problem pretty much, and you're not looking to, you're probably going to land a good ways from the area. Let me see if there's any navigation stuff here.
It's just under 3 clicks from the edge of the map to where I want to go, so we'll probably land maybe 6 or 7 clicks out, and I'll come in on foot.
Well, I was thinking if we followed my path, it could drop you off where you wanted to be dropped off. But then you could just send the drone down, scout over here. Then we could just hop back in, come back over to like this area, and scout these two. That way you don't have to spend a lot of the day traveling up along the ridge. How long would it take you to go 2,000 meters on foot?
That's a good question. Let me see here.
Well, coming in here, I can basically just travel along this one, and then I've only got one incline to go up once I get here. Because from here all the way out this way is one elevation. It'd be relatively. And plus, main reason why I'm wanting to walk in is because I don't want here to here. It's like only 3 kilometers. You can hear a helicopter in 3 kilometers.
I mean, they're going to hear it no matter what as we go by to get down to that bottom point.
Not really. I mean, what I'm wanting to do is just like circle way around it. Like we're already from the city from here is off to the northwest. So all we got to do is just, come directly south, kind of, maybe off in this direction, maybe.
Yep, I was just looking up stuff for that because this is a situation where navigation would become pretty important so that you don't end up flying right over the thing you're trying to avoid. Equipment has a nav computer you could probably install in your helicopter, but
I have a nav comp.
Oh, you already have one?
Yeah.
Nice. So yeah, you get a +1. You can do. This would probably be a no int. I can't see any other skill that would fit better, except for maybe survive and int. Yeah, if you just want to do some orienteering, I guess. Let me look up survive just to be sure, because some games are pretty weird with survive. Oh, yep, I think survive does work. They count navigate difficult terrain in this system. So yeah, if you want, you can roll intelligence survive with your +1 from the nav comp. Alright, that is a success. So you managed to, circle, a few kilometers around to make sure, maybe at a low altitude so that they can't hear you as well. And and you land, and you're pretty confident that they probably don't have any sight or sound of you. And then you're within range to launch your drone.
First, I'm going to check out the living areas with it.
All right.
How many hostages are here, how many hostiles are here, if any of the hostiles, have their faces showing. I don't know if they're wearing masks or helmets or anything like that. So if any of them are showing their faces, I'll record their faces and record any conversations I can hear.
All right, so I'm going to try drawing these tags that'll sort of represent groups. And I'll put 3 of these down in this area. Alright, I'll put these down as just sort of general markers. So you see what look like 3 different distinct groups of people. One group of 10 and one group of 12. And they're wearing civilian clothing, and they're utilizing all kinds of different weapons. Like, some of these guys just have basically welders and jackhammers and stuff like that. And then some of them have like bandoliers of frag grenades, and some of them have automatic rifles. Like, it's just a mix mash of whatever they could find, it looks like. They are wearing various colored bandanas, bright greens and yellows usually. And they have it looks maybe like a type of brand on the side of their face, like an intentional mark. And the wounds of these marks look very fresh, like they're all freshly branded, and they're just sort of patrolling around these houses. You don't see any hostages for a while when you watch, but then occasionally you see some of them being escorted out to latrines and moved around to different houses and stuff like that. So the hostages seem to be in some of these buildings. The other 8 that you see near the south, they have the same brands on the side of their face, but the brand looks healed over, and they're not wearing civilian clothes. They're wearing some type of Under Armour with a clothing that looks more like something that more of a space age material, and it's also looks like it's designed with yellows and greens to it, like a more intentional uniform. And so those are the 3 groups you make out, and the situation of the hostages.
So these guys are probably the quote-unquote professional militia. And since these guys are in civilian with makeshift weapons, and they're freshly scarred, they might actually be converts from the hostages.
The new recruits.
I'm going to check up this way at the 2 farming locations.
Alright, you only make out 6 different people. They also look like irregulars and also have a fresh brand on the side of their face. Most of the farming equipment in this area actually looks like it's been disassembled or even like intentionally burned. You can see where tractors have been dragged out of the garage and then set ablaze. You can see the domes and silos appear to have not been touched, but you can see sort of plant refuse rotting on the ground near some of them, implying that some of them may have been emptied recently. And then further up the road, you see more of the same, except there's no garrison up there. It looks like they ransacked that area, and then it's currently abandoned. And if you want to give me a, I think this might be an intelligence notice roll with a plus 10 for your, or not 10, with a plus 1 for your drone sensors.
1, did you say?
Intelligence notice with a plus 1. Oh, nice. Okay. Alright, give me just a second. I need to redraw that 4. But you see 4 people. They look like they're watching the road. You don't see them at first because they look like they've perfectly blended into the hillside, and they appear to be wearing something that is that is mimicking the heat of their surroundings. So they don't pop up on thermal sensors, but after a closer observation and maybe even a little bit of luck, you see one of them twitch and give away his position, and your drone manages to pick it up even with all of the flora and fauna in the surroundings.
I'm going to use the drone to take pictures of their location.
All right.
So I've got everything recorded. I'm going to head back to the chopper.
Yep, sounds good. And also, just a suggestion in case it hasn't occurred to either of you yet, but the idea of raiding the place and calling the Australian military are not technically mutually exclusive either. Maybe not advisable by certain ways of doing it. You don't want to be in a building while it's being air raided, but it's a good card to pull if you need to escape and you need a distraction.
I was gonna say we might want to hand over the information.
Well, that's what I was thinking, because given the
30, there's quite a few, but 2v30 is a little weighted in their favor.
There's 36 of them, not counting the camouflaged ones.
Yeah, I just
and
mean 30.
We don't. Yeah. And given the spread area.
Yeah, I mean, the guys down in the main group outnumber you a lot. The only real advantage you have is that these guys are separated by 3 or 4 kilometers. So it would be feasible to take them out silently, but if these guys were somehow alerted, then that would be a problem.
Kind of wish I'd bought a rocket launcher.
Oh. Give our Australian friend the information and ask him, like, hey, do you want us to coordinate with you on the ground while you do airstrikes and stuff? Because I can still, let's see, I can get right about here and still fucking shoot everybody. That's well within range of me, or I can, we can go up there, kill these guys while they handle this area,
Yeah, I mean, if they come in with a large enough force to deal with the main threat, you and I could take out go for the camo guys, then move down the mountain to the 6.
Yeah, like I said, since I know where they're at now, I can handle the camo guys. And now I'll head back to the chopper. We contact our friend, give him the info, and then see what he wants to do from there. Yeah, he may just want to pass the whole thing up the chain of command to his bosses to get his own brownie points.
Then if he gets brownie points with his bosses, we get brownie points with him.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll just give him the information and just see what he wants to do from there.
All right.
I'll tell him he's got 36 confirmed hostiles and an unknown number of camouflaged guys watching the roads. 8 of the hostiles look like, professional militia. The others look like recent converts that may or may not have been pulled from the hostages themselves. And the new converts look like they have, shitty equipment, so they shouldn't pose much of a threat.
All right. Yeah, you can sort of do a directed beam and in a similar sort of direction. This'll, once I have a regional map, it'll make more sense, but there's a particular cluster of civilization that you can reasonably expect this to be picked up from. You can beam it to the Australians, and after a little while, you can get a response. So yeah, you get a, you basically send over some that basic message and some maybe attached pictures. You basically drop the intel off for them, and you eventually get a acknowledgement from the contact you have over there, who's let's see, Flight Captain Vitaly Starkov, and you're still in. This isn't too far from the base you guys captured, so you're well within his airspace. And so you get a You get an acknowledgement reply, and but you don't hear anything immediately after. If there's anything you guys want to do.
See, where at in the mountain are we with the helicopter? Are we like over here?
Yeah, you're to the south, I think. The way off down that way, maybe 3 or 4 more kilometers.
Okay. So we're well out of range in case they act on the villages.
Yeah, basically, unless they drop a nuke, we're well out of range.
Yeah, you're like over here, I think, is about the distance.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, we don't have much to do, so we can always sit and hang tight out over here and wait a little longer, see if we hear anything. Because I'm assuming they have to make plans. They just got the information, so they're probably going over plans.
Yeah, they're gonna have to. Yeah, they got to go over the info and decide what they want to do. And once they decide what they want to do, they got to decide how they're going to do it.
And whether or not they'll even include us in it.
Yeah, so I say we just camp out at the helicopter for a day or two and see if we hear anything back from them.
All right, give me just a second here. All right, after about 15 minutes, you actually get Vitaly Starkov on the phone, and he says, yes, I'm very grateful for this information you've given us. It's very helpful. A situation has been developing here over the last few days, and I have forwarded the information to General Valentine. We aren't planning any sorties in the near future. We are waiting to hear further orders. So, but I appreciate the information you've put forward.
So if you're still waiting on orders, would you prefer it if we waited till orders were decided for you? Or are you fine with us acting independently?
You may do as you wish. We have no attachment to these particular settlers, no obligations to fulfill. But we do have an interest in some of the individuals down there conducting their conducting affairs as you've been seeing.
So there's some people you would like left alive.
Alive or dead. Alive is dead is good. Alive is better. There are some high value targets down there that we are interested in, but we have to verify things before we move forward.
Assume the high value targets are the professional looking guys. Rifle and low light goggles. I can basically wait until nighttime. I wait until nighttime, do another pass with my drone, for thermal signatures to see if, everybody stayed in the same place, and then I can basically just creep in that from there like the Grim Reaper on the sheer rifle. Meter basic range.
Did you only bring your sheer rifle, or did you bring the sniper as well?
I've got them both. But the sheer rifle operates completely silent. There's no noise whatsoever.
I was going to say, if it comes down to it and we both need to start shooting, I could take the sniper rifle while you use your sheer rifle.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'm going to be sneaking around down there amongst them with the sheer rifle anyway, so I don't need the sniper rifle with me. So, if you want to take a vantage point, you can use it and protect me. Because even though the sheer rifle operates silently, I can still fail a stealth roll.
What's the range on it?
The sheer rifle has a maximum range of 300. It's 100 base.
Okay, so you basically got to get into the village.
Yeah.
Or on the outskirts of it. Still, I can use the sniper rifle, if nothing else, to spot out targets and tell you where they are compared to your location.
And I can leave the drone with you, or the drone controls with you, so you can still see thermal signatures from up where you're at and basically guide me to them. And then I've got low light goggles on me, so that's why I'll be going in at night and probably when a lot of these guys are asleep.
I was going to say, pick some off in the night, come back, and see how they react the next morning. Or are you going to try and take them all out tonight?
I'll try to take them all out. As many as I can, at least. Let me double check my equipment real quick. You go in, kill these guys, and then move down and try to subdue these guys. Right. Either way.
Yeah, the shear rifle, the main thing with it for this plan, as long as you get into position, you're pretty much golden, because if they do notice you, offing people, then you can basically, you'll be able to lay low and they won't be able to figure out exactly where you're firing from at first. So yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, since it operates silently, people would just be falling apart and they're not going to be able to figure out where the hell it's coming from because can't hear nothing.
Yep.
I was going to say, too, I'll probably, let's see, what's the range? Oh, yeah, I'll probably be, up on this, up near the top of this, with a sniper rifle. And I'm assuming since it's basically a canyon, it'll be hard.
I would say get up on this one. That way, in case something does go wrong and alerted, these guys will have to come down through here, and you can basically they'll be sitting ducks.
Off on the road.
Yeah. Yeah, the tippy top of this hilltop, I think, is because each contour is 20 meters on this map. Let's see, that'll be 120 meter height right here. So it's a pretty steep cliff.
So if these guys from the north, if something goes wrong and shooting starts and they get alerted and they come running down this way, they'll be sitting ducks to you because you can just, shoot down on them.
Yeah. I mean, plus they'll have to look for the muzzle flash in order to find me, because just going off the sound is going to be, I'm assuming, a little harder since it's basically a canyon.
Yeah,
but with it being night, it probably won't be too hard to see the muzzle flash.
Yeah, that's true. You have some trees to cover you at least. And this is light jungle, which I have it listed on the other map, on your home base map. I have a little map legend I've been working on. But light jungle basically varies between 10 and 20 meter high canopy. And so muzzle flash will be slightly more difficult. It won't be an immediate giveaway like it would be if the were bare.
Okay, I meant to ask, too, if the white areas were basically just open terrain.
Yeah, the white areas is knee-high grass, basically. It's pretty much open terrain. Alright, so if you want to, try sneaking into positions, then you can put your icons on the board and move them to where you want to make your entry point and all that.
How much ammo did you bring for the sniper rifle? Because I'm assuming I can't use my regular rifle ammo with it.
Let me double check. I've got... Oh, there it is. I've got 50 rounds.
What's the penalty for going over 1,000? Or over the minimum?
Let me check real quick.
Open this.
Alright. normal and maximum range in meters. Attacks beyond normal range take a -2 penalty to hit.
All right.
I'm guessing beyond maximum range is just not possible, or it's just a miss.
Yeah, I think that's how they go with it.
I mean, if I go up to the top, then anything beyond this point, I'm going to have a -2 penalty. Still, a -2 penalty to basically cover the entire village is not bad. Can still hit the road too, the whole way. Or at least from this point on.
Alright, I need to go use the bathroom before we start this off, so I'll be right back.
All right. I'll probably go get a drink real quick as well. All right, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Alright, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Alright, got my ghillie suit on, got my shear rifle ready, light goggles on, I'm ready to go.
All right. So if you guys both want to give me sneak rolls with the appropriate bonuses and all that, I think bonuses would be for the ghillie suit. I don't think there'd be... I guess... let's see. You're going at night and it's jungle. I think those modifiers would be on their side in this case. So yeah, I guess bonuses from the ghillie suit, and that'll be it.
Ghillie suit was +1, right?
Yep, I think so.
I forgot to write it down, but you said 50 rounds for the sniper, right?
Yeah, 50 rounds.
All right, so you guys have gotten into position, and night has fallen. It looks like most of the guards are, kind of idling about. It looks like they've been out here a while, and some of them don't look like they're paying too much attention. And now you're, looks like you're in your positions.
Damn it, my map just fucked up.
Yeah, I'm just consolidating tabs and stuff like that. If you guys are thinking, that's fine. I'm just letting you know not to hold up on me or anything. No matter how much stuff I prep ahead of time, I always forget something that seems pretty obvious.
We come down to these two little buildings right here on the outskirts. This group here, so are they clustered up or spread out or what?
Let me see. I have the two groups up there, the irregulars. They are they have super chaotic formations, so I will roll to see what they're like right now. Yeah, sorry, I was just giving myself a scratch sheet because as stuff begins to happen, I will begin to need it. So the group near you is separated almost entirely into pairs, and then you have one group of 3. So you got 2s and then 2 groups of 3, and then everyone else is 2s, rather.
How much of this do you want to pick off on your own, and how much when do you want me to jump in? Do you want to go for the plus the two groups of 2, or do you want to start going for the 3?
Basically, don't open up until you hear them shooting back. Because once they start shooting, then everybody's going to be alerted, so then you can go ahead and open up. But until they're going to start shooting back, I'm going to try to kill as many as I can without raising the alarm.
I mean, it's going to be a little hard with them being in groups of 2 and 3. And the only way I'm going to get hit is if any of them have sniper rifles. And I'm not expecting anyone except maybe one of the 8 to have a sniper rifle. And even then, it's a little unlikely. So I'm probably safe out of range of basically everyone. Unless they have artillery hidden somewhere.
Basically, what I want to try to do is kind of do the Metal Gear Solid thing, and you basically kill a guy when everybody else is looking in a different direction. Maybe try to kill his partner before he looks back, to figure out what that noise was when his partner hit the floor.
Yeah. Alright, I was just drawing little, if you scroll down a little bit from where the battle is, I just drew these dots sort of to represent the different groups within groups, if you will, as they're sort of guarding different positions around. And these groups are separated, I'll say, basically by like sight, like patrol area. So like if you're in like melee combat with one group, then the other three aren't immediately aware of you. So this sort of fits the Metal Gear Solid sort of view of things for the moment. So if you want, you can basically engage like one group of 2 or 3 in front of you, however you want to do that.
Yeah, so basically what I want to do is like say this group here, I'll aim at this guy, and then maybe you'll catch his partner. Like, if his partner looks over here, I'll drop him. I'll drop this guy, and then when this guy turns to look to see what that noise was, I drop him. And then the next one. So that's basically kind of how I want to play it, and try to kill as many as I can before the alarm gets raised.
Alright, and then I'm going to roll for one more thing real quick, and then I think we'll be good to go to start this.
Oh shit! I don't have my rule book open. Can you double check what burst fire or burst mode does?
I can get you the page number, but I believe it gives you a +2 to your shot, and it gives you +2 damage at the cost of 3 ammo.
Rifle holds 10, so I can burst fire 3 times and then do a single.
Yep, burst mode is on page 70, and yeah, as long as you have a weapon that can fire in burst mode, you can just choose to spend 3 ammo and get the +2 to hit and +2 damage. Alright, yeah, and because this is, because of the nature of this regiment, basically each of these groups of people you're running across will have randomized weaponry, and so the 2 guys standing in front of you, one of them is holding a rifle, and the other is holding a submachine gun, it looks like. And the guy you're about to shoot will be the one holding the submachine gun as well, it appears. Alright, so if you want, you can go ahead and roll. They currently have no idea that you are around.
Shooting the first one.
Nice. Yep, so let me see here. Yep, so the sheer rifle just passes right through the little bits of armor he had attached to him. You killed him twice over, and he slumps to the ground, mostly silently. Let's see here. Alright, so that's a basic success. So the guy in front of him, he turns around and he sees there's a guy who's laying on the ground. He's taken in a situation that this guy looks like he's been shot, but he doesn't have any time to react beyond that. And let's see. I think at this point we could let's see. Yeah, I guess we could do an initiative to see which of you guys gets to act first. He doesn't know you're there, but he can try. Oh man. Alright, let's see. His stat is probably lower than yours. I guess this would be do you have any sort of dex bonus, Simo?
Yeah, I've got a +1 on my dexterity bonus.
Alright, the NPC sheet doesn't tell me exactly what his dex is, but he doesn't have a bonus to dex, so you win. You get to go again.
Yeah, my dex is 14. That gives me a +1.
Yep, and that also hits, and also passes right through his armor. So the first group has been silently eliminated.
I'll move on to the next 2-man group. And do the same thing again.
All right, this group, one of them has, it looks like a hydraulic jackhammer, and the other one has a welder. And so you can choose which of those two to fire at if you want. They're both they both have the same armor.
Well, the one with the jackhammer, it sounds like it'll probably be heavier, so he'll probably be slower to react. So I'll shoot the guy with the welder first.
Yep, and he falls to the ground, and then we'll do another notice. Yep, and he does not notice that anything's going on, and so you can take another shot.
Alright, so this one will be a single shot only.
Yep, and that's another one dead.
Alright, reloading.
So are all these people the ones from the 10 and 12 group?
Yeah, these are the ones from the 10 group on the left, and they are currently down to 6.
Alright, now I'll start in on the closest 3-man group.
Alright, this group has 2 guys with rifles, and one of them has a bandolier of grenades.
Alright, I will shoot the one with grenades first.
Alright.
Can he purposely just shoot the grenades?
You could. It has a small chance of giving away your location. Unless you can fake it as an unfortunate accident. Yeah, the guy with the grenades just falls over, and then these guys get to roll to see if they noticed anything. Alright, so one of them doesn't notice, and the other one turns around and sees there's a dead guy behind him. And so he's going to have an initiative.
Oof.
Oh my god!
Oh.
Yep, so you get to go again, and the other guy is still unawares. Yep, he disintegrates into pieces. Yep, and then this guy notices. Yep, and you can take a shot at him now. Yep, it's going good so far. You managed to cheese your way down to 3 guys on that left side. So this is, I think this is working out pretty well.
I'm going to go ahead and reload since I only had 1 shot left out of that cell.
Yep.
Alright, so what are the last 3 guys armed with?
Alright, let me see. So we've got 2 guys have jackhammers, and 1 guy has a shotgun.
Alright, I'm going to shoot the one with the shotgun.
Yep, he's dead. Now we get some notice rolls. Alright, one of them notices and gets an initiative. Nice. So you get to take a shot at him too. Alright, he gets added. And his initiative... Oh yeah, okay, this time his initiative beats you. And he's 1 guy with a jackhammer in front of you. You know, and there's that terrifying moment, and this guy doesn't even realize, but he's the last guy in his whole platoon, basically. But yeah, so let's see. Just us a second here. All right. So he manages to not shit himself for just long enough to contact his a radio pack that he has, and so he types a signal into it as his action. And then you get to go. Yep, and then he falls into pieces. Alright, so that left platoon has basically been obliterated at this point. Not even really, not even any wounded, like they all got one shot. So that's pretty efficient work there. Alright, so what do you think you're going to do here? Either do something in your immediate surroundings or continue or withdraw something?
Do you want to try and find some hostages to send back, or just keep on killing?
Are there any heat signatures in this area right here?
Yeah, let me see.
I was going to say, do I need to roll anything to use the drone, or am I good? Because I'm assuming I'm just sitting up here, relaying where the militia members already live.
Yeah, you find there are 8 heat signatures in the buildings and around your area, Simo. And sorry, what were you just asking, Pete?
I was just saying, I'm assuming I'm just relaying where the enemies are and reading them off what the drones tell. I'm reading from the drone.
Yeah. So if you're observing, then you do see the 2 squads that are also in the city. They do react to the last guy putting out that radio call. You don't see the squad up north doing anything.
I'm going to let them know that that they're aware someone's nearby. So they're probably going to be on a bit more high alert. I'm also going to point out the buildings that have the heat signatures.
Hostages that are over on this side of the road.
Alright, you said you're going to release the hostages on that side of the road?
Yeah.
Alright.
On this side of the road is clear, and head up the hill. Head up on top of the hill over here, and then when this is all over, we'll come find you.
Yep, so you have 8 hostages that you managed to get out of these buildings. And they don't say much to you, not much time to speak and all that, but they run off into the jungle. Alright, and while that's happening, you can see the group of 12 is sort of conglomerated together, and they're beginning to move into the left side of the city. And the group of 8, they haven't really changed position, but they look like they're all talking to each other and messing around with some of the tech they have, and they're moving at a pretty high pace.
Alright, I'm going to tell Simo he's got the new recruits inbound, and the veterans seem to be on the move as well. The new recruits are all in a large group, so it's about to get dicey.
Alright, I'm going to head down this way towards the veterans.
Alright. So, if you want, you can give me... this would be a sneak check without any benefit from the camo. And if you want, also give me a notice check.
Would this be intelligence or wisdom?
This would be wisdom.
Just out of curiosity, with them being in a group, will there be any modifiers like hordes in Warhammer? Or do they all count individually, even though they're grouped up?
They kind of count individually. There's sort of a morale mechanic. So if you kill one of them, they'll get a morale test. If you kill the leader, the first time you kill one of them, they get a morale test. If you kill their leader, they get a morale test. And then other certain situations might hit them with a morale test. So there's kind of a group mechanic there, but they all individually have their own stats. If you're asking based on skills, the whole group is rolling once for a notice right now. So that's how that works.
I meant like to hit them. Like, do you get a bonus for hitting?
Oh,
A bonus at attacking since they're grouped up. Since if you miss one, you might hit another, or does that not count? And it starts without number.
nah, that wouldn't count in this situation. I would give you a bonus if you were using a area effect weapon or a shotgun or something like that. But in this situation, with them moving through buildings and stuff like that, it wouldn't give a bonus for a rifle or anything like that.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, Simo, you're pretty confident in your ability as you sneak through the city. You're pretty confident you've avoided detection of it at any rate, and you also see the group of 12, guys sort of wandering through the alleyways, keeping an eye on their surroundings, and you can see over. Through the houses, you occasionally catch glimpses of the 8 guys standing around each other. And you can see most of them are wearing, looks like combat helmets. With, they look pretty well kept. And except one of them isn't wearing a combat helmet, and he seems to be in the center of the group. And he appears to be, passing data pad around to the others and talking with all of them. So you make out that as you're traveling through the city.
I'm going to start making my way towards them and just kind of like wind my way through these buildings here till I get to them. Till I get to these 2 buildings right here.
All right. Yeah, you can easily get into that cluster of buildings with no problem.
Does this system have anything like a called shot system like 40K does where I can say, I want to shoot him in the leg or something like that?
Yep, it's very much done mostly GM discretion since they don't have like a location system, but there are many benefits you can get from called shot. I believe it's -2 in this system. But yeah, in this case, you'd be hitting the head, so you would ignore his any benefits he gets from his armor. But let me see here. I'm just double checking to make sure. Nah, it seems this being an armored class system, it seems that the benefit is already counted in by him having the -1 for not wearing a helmet. So in this situation, I don't think there would be any benefit to taking the -2 for a called shot. Unfortunately.
Alrighty, well, I'm gonna take my first shot at him then.
All right. So you see the he sort of has this cloak that he's wearing around him, and you see the cloak part as the repulsor forces of your shear rifle go to work on his armor, and the cloak just tears to pieces, basically disintegrates before your eyes. But and it reveals it peels away to reveal a shiny, brand new armor right underneath, with all this immaculate carving across it. And the armor manages to stop the shear rifle dead in its tracks.
Well, I had to expect he was wearing good shit, being the boss and all.
All right, so let's see here. All right, so he manages to make you out, And I think initiative can be rolled now. Yep, give me just a second. I'm trying to figure out something in Roll20. Alright, I think we're good to go. So, I think Pete technically gets the first action here.
Is the leader the only one that looks like he's well equipped? Or do the other guys with him look like they have armor as well? Or can I not tell?
The other guys do look pretty well equipped. They're wearing cloaks, but they're also wearing combat armor, which is much more of a giveaway that they're wearing something under. And they are also equipped in, much more, much better gear. It looks like they have custom shotguns and custom rifles.
It also looks like they are out of my range. So I guess I'll take a shot at one of the guys in the group of new recruits.
Alright. Yep, that's a pretty good shot, and it's enough to drop one of them. So you see one of them falls apart. You get him right through the upper torso or something like that, and he falls over. And you technically have move and on-turn action, but if you don't have anything else you want to do, then we can go to Simo.
I guess after I take the shot, I'll just use my move action to kind of move south along the ridge a little bit.
Actually, if you don't move, you can kind of set up a prepared firing position, which gives you a +2, so that'll negate anything that's out of your range. So you'll be shooting at a +0.
Will that break every time I have to reload? Because I have to reload every time I shoot, don't I?
No, it's just as long as you don't move out of that position, it'll count as being in a prepared firing position.
Okay, yeah. Does that an action or?
It's just where you've been sitting up there this entire time, basically just sighting everything in.
I guess I won't move, and
It basically takes like 5 minutes to set up.
Oh,
So basically, you've been sitting up there all this time, basically just sighting in the rifle and everything.
Yeah, I forgot about that, but yeah, you could say that you're in a prepared firing position, but obviously, if you want to get in range of stuff, you could you'd have to give that up to get in range.
Well, the only reason I was going to move is in case they notice the muzzle flash. I can use my action to move, or I can use my movement to move. I can shoot, move, and then hopefully they'll shoot at where they saw the muzzle flash instead of shooting at me. Was my idea.
Yeah, there's something to that. You'd have to yeah. I mean, I guess if you kept shooting, they would be able to zero in on your location. But given the range, like what type of gun are you using?
I'm using Simo's sniper rifle.
Yeah, so none of the guys that you're looking at down there have a sniper rifle. So even if they saw you up there, they probably wouldn't be able to effectively return fire.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I guess I'll just stay in my spot.
Simo, now that you've shot at this guy, what do you want to do now?
I'll run away.
All right.
But as I run away, basically like run around the corner of the house to break line of sight, I'm going to drop a demo charge as I run by and then just keep running.
Nice. Okay.
And hopefully they follow me.
And,
I mean, even though they're professionally equipped, they're still malicious, so they might give chase.
yeah. All right, and
So what I'm hoping they're going to do is give chase, and that way I can blow that demo charge up behind me.
yeah, that's a nice piece of equipment. Let's see. All right.
Just out of curiosity, are there any heat signatures in the buildings surrounding where he placed the demo chart?
Let me see.
Is it this one right here?
This actually is a good situation for a luck roll. I'm not sure. Let's see. Even though Pete's noticing it, I guess this might be Simo's luck roll since he's the one who's trying to execute the maneuver. So if you want, you can do a luck roll to see if if Pete notices any heat signatures in the area right where you put the demo charge. It's up there near initiative, if you're wondering.
Oh, okay.
All right. Yep, you're all in the clear. It looks like you just happened to be near some storage facilities that they weren't using for anything.
The max range is only 40, so even if there were, they might be out of range.
Yeah,
Or at least far enough out of range where they wouldn't take the full damage.
Yeah, like each of those houses are roughly 20 meters, and so 40 explosive, you'll probably take out like to maybe a third house, but in this case, nobody's in any of those houses. But yeah, so yeah, you put that charge down right when you get out of line of sight, and then you keep running. And so now we'll go down to their turn. Alright, give me just a second. Alright, so the guys, they turn the corner. All 8 of them are running after you. And then the guy who wasn't wearing a helmet before stops, and they all notice the demo charge laying in front of them. And so he focuses for a second, and the demo charge flies out of the ground and rockets up into the sky. And so they're still on the chase, but they haven't gotten into a good firing position to you yet, because they had to double move to get over to where you were. And the demo charge hasn't exploded yet, but it's let me see here.
Or can he fling it on his turn?
It is at the end of his turn. It will be 25 meters upwards, and still.
It's got a 40-meter range.
Yep, it's got 40-meter range.
Oh, on my turn, I can still detonate it and hit them.
Just shoot out of the air.
A nice air burst.
Which actually be better because it's an air burst, so.
All right.
It's for AoE. Alright.
Alright, the irregulars, actually, let me see here. Because they've just taken they're in squad mode, so they're counting as a squad. They've just taken a death, so they're going to roll for morale, see how they react. Alright, they maintain full cohesion, and so what they're going to do is they're going to run behind buildings, and you can still shoot some of them, even though they're taking cover, because they haven't determined where the fire is coming from, so they're kind of still trying to zero in, so you can still see some of them to shoot. And then we're over to Pete's turn. Oh, you there, Traffic?
Yeah. I guess I'll spend my turn to reload.
All right. Yeah, I forgot the sniper rifle takes a while to reload. Alright, so we're back to Simo.
Alright. I am detonating the demo charge as I dive behind a building.
Alright. Let's see. So I think that's 3d10 damage.
I think they have to do an evasion save.
Yeah, it looks like it. I'm reading through it now. Yeah, it's like anything within 20 meters just gets hit immediately. And evasion save halves the damage. And then anyone within 40 meters takes half damage. And with an evasion save, they take no damage.
So what was the damage?
3d10. Nice. Yeah, I'm just making sure I'm doing this right. I forgot that the way they do the saves on the NPCs is a little strange. Alright, so the named guy and his whole squad, I'll say just for now, they both managed to take half damage because they failed their save, so they take some damage, but they were outside of the 20 meters, so they take half damage. So I'll be 12 on each.
I'll slow them the fuck down anyway.
Alright, so yeah, you see smoke and debris just kind of just whooshes out everywhere. And, and Pete, you can see that whole side of town basically has like a 10-meter high just cloud of dust. And it has been kicked up from the huge explosion. You can see a bunch of them got knocked to the ground, and it's kind of hard to tell, like, who's who. They're all kind of stumbled around and disorganized from the huge explosion that just went off. And Simo keeps on running, I assume. Alright, is that going to be it for you?
Actually, it's not. I just realized I brought grenades. I forgot I bought those.
Yep.
No, I'm going to hold up here, and on my next turn, I'm going to start lobbing grenades.
Nice. Alright.
Do you have any more demo charges? Can you just throw a demo charge at them?
Yeah, I've got demo charges too. If I can throw one and get out of the blast radius, though.
One of them must have died if they had to do a morale check.
Yeah, well, there's also circumstances like, those recruits, for example, if you toss a Molotov cocktail into the middle of them, then even if it doesn't kill any of them, you got a chance to disorient and confuse everyone. And setting off a big bomb right above everyone's heads is a good recipe to confuse everyone.
It's a bit of a mood killer.
Yeah.
Equipment 61. Da-da-da. See how heavy demo charges are. Or, like, see how far I can throw one.
They have an encumbrance of 1.
So how far could I throw something with a weight of 1? Or an encumbrance of 1?
I'm not sure. I could look it up in just a second. In the meantime, the squad under the cloud, they managed to rally and get their act together. And let's see. Yeah, hold on. I'm just reading stuff to make sure that I'm doing it right the first time. All right. Yeah, I was just reading it through to make sure. So, Simo, make a mental save. Nice. Yeah, so you can feel a force sort of worming its way into your mind, but you manage to clear your head and fight off its effects for now. And you can't see exactly where it's coming from. It must, presumably one of the figures stumbling around in the smoke. And so that'll be the main guy's action, and then the 7 other guys are going to run to cover and take up positions, using up 2 movements to do so. And then it'll be the irregular's turn, and they will spend the turn basically rolling a notice roll to see if they can determine where that shot earlier came from. Oh, that was the wrong button. Yep, so they have a general idea. So they are going to let's see. I guess that would be their main action. So they won't be able to move into full cover just yet, but they have a general direction of where the shooter is based on where the body was hit. And then we'll go over to Pete.
So do I count as being in a prepared firing position since I've been up here for so long, or is that something you have to announce beforehand?
Normally, it's something you'd have to set up, but since this was a planned operation, it was something I neglected to mention earlier. But yeah, normally if you just take time to set up in a position and find a nice stump to prop your rifle on and sight in your scopes, that gives you a +2 for prepared firing position. Normally, you're supposed to announce it, but I think it would make sense that you would do that, considering that this was sort of the goal from the beginning, as I understand it anyway.
Yeah, I forgot to mention it since I wasn't up there actually doing it.
In that case, I'll take another shot at the group. Can I see any of the guys from Simo's group that he's engaged with?
Let me see.
Because it seems like they might, if I could, they would just barely be at the edge of the range.
Yeah, you can probably. I just rolled for their positioning, and they're unaware of you, so I basically just did sort of a luck thing, see if they happened to be arranged in a way that you could see. And yeah, you can see at least one of them.
Alright, I'll do a shot at the one that I can see.
Alright. Yeah, unfortunately it's a near hit. It misses, rather.
Well, on the upside, they've got something else to worry about.
Yep. Alright, so I think we're on Simo's turn now.
Or would I be able to throw a demo charge? It's not really giving me...
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I can find info on that real quick.
Grenades, I still need to be able to figure out how far I can throw those, too.
Yeah, it might be... let's see here. Yeah, so it'd probably be an exert roll. I just need to see some examples here.
You can use exert instead of shoot if you want, it says.
Alright, and the demo charge is encumbrance 1, you said?
Yeah.
Alright, a grenade is also encumbrance 1. And I would count the demo charge as probably being just a little bit harder since it's not designed to be thrown. So it'd probably be, let me see what a typical... So, with a grenade, hitting something, let's see, 10, oh gosh. So with grenade range, you're looking at like 10 to 30, and it has an encumbrance of 1. But since the demo charge has a range of 40, you might not be advisable to throw it and detonate it, immediately. The page number is 71 if you want to look at the grenade. But yeah, it would, I actually haven't tried throwing any grenades, recently in this system. Unless I'm wrong about this, it should be a, Dex plus Exert. And throwing a normal grenade would probably be a DC 6 to hit exactly where you want it to. Throwing a demo charge, I think, would be a DC of 8 just because it's a device that's not designed to be thrown the way a grenade is. And the ranges would probably be similar if we're going by encumbrance. Oh, but you also have grenades, so yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to start yeeting grenades instead of a demo charge because grenades are cheaper. And they're meant to be thrown, so yeah, I guess I'll start lobbing grenades.
Alright.
Was exert plus dex.
Yep.
Alright, yeeting grenade number uno.
Alright, let's see here. It actually says grenade on page 70. So grenades always attack a DC of 10, and on a miss, the grenade lands 1d10 meters away. So if you want to roll 1d10, you can see how close you got.
And to buy somebody else.
Yeah. Let's see.
It was a strong breeze.
Hospital landed right in the lap of his second in command, who was 10 meters away.
I'm gonna see what direction. Alright, so yeah, you threw it too far, it appears. I was just thinking, if you threw it, 30 meters and it came 10 meters back, I don't know. It'd be crazy. But yeah, I don't think it hit anybody because you threw it somehow 10 meters beyond basically max range, it appears. Like you had pulled a tendon or something to get that thing flying.
God damn it, I should have thrown the demo charge.
Yeah. It's like maybe you reached for the demo charge, but you accidentally threw the grenade. I don't know. But yeah.
When he said he was eating it, he meant he was eating it.
Yep.
Maybe an hour, I don't know.
Alright, so that's Simo, and let's see what these guys do. Oh yeah, you actually still have a move action, Simo, and I think you're technically behind cover right now, but you can choose to move 10 meters if you want.
I'm going to move to new cover.
Alright, I'm just going to move you ever so slightly. Yeah, if you're unaware, if your normally snap to grid is on, but if you hold Alt while you're moving stuff around, you can move it wherever you want without snapping. So that's how you can do that. Alright, these 8 guys are, they're dug in, and they're going to, I believe, let me see here. Alright, one of them with the rifle is going to be able to take a shot at Simo. Alright, that's an 8 to hit, which is probably a miss.
Yep.
And the others basically just spend their movement trying to get into position. And
my AC is 17.
Nice. Alright, and the irregulars are going to move into cover from the sniper over there, from Pete. And they don't have any weapons that can actually shoot around up there, even if they knew exactly where he was. So they're going to hang tight for the time being. And then we go over to Pete.
Alright. I'm just going to take my turn to reload, and I'm also going to remind Simo of the, on his way out, to keep in mind the new recruits that are to the northwest of him still, just so he doesn't potentially get surrounded. Or accidentally run it.
Alright. So, what was the Or what was your exact thing that you were doing? I was in the middle of wrestling with Roll20.
I was reloading the sniper rifle and reminding Simo to be careful of the new recruits to the northwest of his location.
All right, cool. And now I guess we go back to Simo.
I may regret this, but I'm going to take that yeeting of the grenade as a sign that I should have yoked a demo charge, and I'm going to actually yeet a demo charge this time.
All right. 8. All right. So now roll a d10 and see where it ends up. It starts off. Oh my gosh! All right, let's see.
Should have been a baseball player.
Oh, you lucked out. You threw it too far again. So, you now have a demo charge that is exactly 40 meters away from you.
Boom.
All right. Let me look at the damage just to be sure. You know, this actually reminds me of the demo charges in one of Arch's campaigns that had a scatter mechanic that worked kind of like this, and so they ended up having demo charges they would throw that would boomerang around corners and stuff like that.
I love scatter mechanics.
Oh, they're wonderful. All right, let me see here.
It was 3d10.
Yep, there we go. 3d10. All right, let's see here. Now they are much closer to the carnage than they were before, so now they're guaranteed to take damage, and they are rolling evasion to take less. All right. So yeah, this time again the explosion, you know, just blast in the middle of this town, and you see pieces of houses going every which direction, and this time you see a bunch of bodies just. You see people like fly through the air and smash into buildings and then fall onto the ground, and a couple of bodies look sort of twisted around, and not all of them are getting back up this time. Alright, and there's even more dust up in the air, so at this point there's going to be vision penalties and stuff like that for pretty much the whole town. It's going to be heavily obscured. Yeah, so that's the situation at this point. I believe that's your action and probably on-turn action, so if you want, you can move another 10 meters away.
Actually, at this point, I'm going to go prone and just get ready to start shooting.
All right.
That gives them a -2 to hit me.
All right. Yep. So go down here to these guys, and yep, you don't see too much happen in all the fog, and you don't hear any shots heading, you know, over to you yet. And let's see what these guys are gonna do. All right. So this the irregular group up north. They've actually, let me do something else to those guys. Yeah, so they have a general idea that there's funny business going on the other side of town with the 2 massive explosions that just leveled a bunch of houses. But they're sitting tight and talking on the radio during this time, rather than doing anything about it immediately. And I guess we'll go over to Pete's turn, and Pete, if you could give me a wisdom notice check right now. Alright. So, yeah, you see activity over on the other side of the hill, over on these guys. You see them scurrying about and talking to each other loudly, and what type of are you you're looking through the drone sensors? I recall.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can.
It's got UV and infrared.
Yeah, so you can see some thermal signatures stirring up there, but those guys are still well hidden. But it looks like they're moving around and changing position. And so that's what you see at the beginning of your turn, and then you can choose to do whatever you want now.
So because of all the dust and stuff kicked up from the demo charges, I'll have a penalty again for shooting at people in town, right?
I think the irregulars, you'll still be able to hit them. I'll draw a little dust cloud to give you an idea. That's kind of the most affected area.
Since last turn the irregulars took more cover, can I even see any of them?
No, you don't have a really good shot on any of them. It would be a -2, which would be counteracted by your prepared, so it'd basically be a straight shot to hit any of them right now.
The range was already being countered by the prepared shot, so it would be a -2 again.
Okay, I see.
My prepared shot is only because I'm aiming this way, right? If I were to switch position and shoot northwest, I wouldn't have the bonus anymore.
Yeah, I think because of the dense jungle, you'd have to see. I know I can visualize this because I've played Arma. When you're on like a dense jungle hill like that, you have to like walk around for a while before you find a gap in the leaves, and so you'd only be prepared one direction, I think.
Okay, I might still take a shot even with the penalty. There's no point breaking my position until they start to move.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm going to take a shot at one of the irregulars.
Oh, nice. Yeah, one of them, when he peeks his head up, you just put a bullet right between the eyes, basically, and he drops instantly.
Shit. That was a nat 20.
Yep.
The 2 times I've rolled with the -2, I've hit, and the time I roll without it, I missed. After I take the shot, I'm going to tell Simo that there's movement in the farming zone, as well as up on the hill where he saw the glimmers of camo. So we might have more guests soon. I'll keep him updated as they make.
All right. And now we're over to Simo.
See any of these guys, or is the dust still too thick?
Yep, dust is still pretty thick. It'd be at a -2 penalty to anything visual, including shooting and notice. You don't see any movement. If you do a notice check, you can listen. It'd be a wisdom notice if you want to try that. But yep, you can hear that there's at least someone still alive over there. You can hear some quiet talking, and you can also hear some noise like dragging sounds. But you don't see any. You don't hear any weapons or see any of them moving into position yet.
You know, the blast from a grenade might help clear some of the smoke. That's how that works, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to choose a weapon to blind fire, a grenade isn't a terrible choice.
I'm going to call out to him. See anybody still alive in there? I've got plenty of grenades and more demo charges to rain hell down on you if you don't surrender. Surrender now and you'll get to live.
All right. So I think in this situation you could do. I guess this would be charisma plus lead with a +3. I think would be the closest thing to this, to an intimidation roll they have in this system.
Plus lead, +3.
All right. So that is a moderate success. So I'm going to go ahead and roll morale to see how they're doing with that. All right. Yeah, you don't hear any response, and you hear their talking basically goes on uninterrupted, and still hear stuff being dragged around and moved and stuff.
All right, grenade it is.
All right.
Grenade.
All right. And now, if you want to roll 1d10. All right. So yeah, you throw it sort of in the general direction of the noise, and it goes off by about 5 meters, but you do manage to hit one of them. So if you want to roll damage, you can do that. I believe it's 2d6 for a grenade. Yep.
Oops, that's 3d6. My bad. The wrong button. There we go.
All right. Yep. So you hear the grenade detonate. You don't see much change in the smoke, but yeah, you see it sort of quiets down a bit. You don't hear as much dragging or anything like that, and the talking has stopped. All right, so yeah, after a little bit of silence, you see a white bright light, or a white hot heat, basically emanate from in the middle of the fog, like some type of thermal charge has just been ignited, and something's burning off in the distance, and you don't see or hear anything in your immediate area, and that's basically the only thing you see or hear. At this point in time, and that'll be it for their turn. The irregulars are going to start moving back the way they came, trying, taking care to adhere to cover as much as they can, and sort of trying to maybe follow that smoke as well as the buildings, but they're not in the smoke yet. And then we go over to Pete. Oh wait, I forgot about these guys up here. I'll add them to the initiative real quick. Alright, they'll go ahead. They're going to go into these buildings, and they're rooting around in there. And now we go over to Pete.
Alright. I'm just going to spend my turn to reload, and that's it.
Alright. And then Simo again.
I'm yeeting a grenade towards that light.
Alright. Yep, all grenades hit against DC 10. So, let me double check just real quick to make sure that we're doing the right rolls to throw. I'm pretty sure it is. Yep, it is the... So it says here, I think the wording here is important, grenades can be thrown with the exert skill instead of shoot. So if your shoot is better, you could choose to roll with that. So you can go ahead and re-roll with that if your shoot is better, if you want.
Yeah.
Alright, cool. Nice. So yeah, this time you hit it dead on. So yeah, you hit the bright source of the bright light emanating out from the smoke, and yep, you see it connect directly, and the grenade detonates. Yeah, you can't see if you hit anyone, but it definitely landed right on top of the thermal area. All right, and are you gonna move or do anything else on your turn?
I'm still prone, so I'd have to use my move action to get up, so I'm just going to stay put.
Alright, so Pete, as you're keeping an eye on the activity in that other town, you see the garage doors open, and it looks like 3 transport vehicles with like sort of armored transports roll out of the garages down there. So now there's a small squad of 3 armored transports that are just entering the road.
Really did wish you brought the rocket launcher.
I'm definitely buying one after this mission. Imagine rolling out of the garage, then, like, not even 10 seconds later, just instant rock.
Yeah, that would probably be a morale check for the whole company, honestly.
No,
Alright.
No.
Yep, and no more activity from within the smoke. And Pete sees the irregulars disappear completely into the smoke and buildings. And now it's Pete's turn.
So now the only thing I can see down in the town is nothing.
Yeah, basically all you just see is huge clouds of smoke. You can see movement in the smoke, but take a pot shot on it would be an additional -2.
So I'd be shooting with a -4.
Yep, I believe so.
Is it even worth it to shoot at an armored car?
Probably not. Let me check and see what the armor on this would be.
Yeah, armored cars, or are they like homemade armored cars?
They actually look to be surplus military. They're not like heavy assault deployment craft, but they are armored against, it looks to be grenades and landmines.
So most of the armor is probably near the bottom.
Yeah, bottom and sides.
I'd say the tires are probably bulletproof too. Window.
Alright, so the vehicle armor is subtracted from weapon damage done, and this particular vehicle would have 8 armor on probably on the sides and front. They probably have something like 6 armor on the back, and then maybe.
What about the windows? Would that just be the same?
Let me see.
Assuming they probably have bulletproof glass.
Yeah, I mean it probably is bulletproof glass, but it would be it'd probably be six armor on those.
So you'd have to be rolling max just to get through it.
My alternative is to shoot with a -4. I mean, regardless of which one I shoot at, I'm gonna warn Simo that we've got 3 armored vehicles inbound from the north. So he might want to start heading out. Or at least try to find better cover. Although inside...
I'm already prone in the smoke, so I doubt they know where I'm at.
True. But if they drive those into the smoke, I'm not going to be able to help you much.
I mean, if they stop and get out, you know, then
I'm assuming
mounted on the vehicles.
Armored cars are just going to drive straight in.
Are there any weapons mounted on them?
Yeah, there's a light machine gun which is mounted on the roof, and but someone has to come out of the top hatch to use it. Nobody is right now.
Alright.
I'm not too worried about them then.
I guess for now, for this turn, I'll just take a shot at...
I mean, they'd have to know exactly where I'm at to run over me. I can still evade, and then if they get on the gunner seat, I can still shoot back at them.
For this turn,
And then if they get out, I've got grenades and demo charges and all that fun shit.
imagine if you sink a grenade into the hatch.
If they open the door and I throw a fucking grenade inside, they're all fucked.
I'm just going to shoot at one of the shapes, one of the silhouettes in the cloud.
Alright, so shoot at the -4. Oh wow, was that you count? Oh, nice, and you did count the -4. So yeah, you actually kill another one.
Oh shit. My damage has been pretty consistent.
All right, and so I believe there are 9 of them left. Now we're over at Simo. Yeah, so you're still prone. There's still dust for the last, I believe, 18 seconds. There's basically been no activity, no talking, no dragging sounds. And then 8 seconds ago was when that fire started burning, and you're sitting there prone with your gun.
They'd blow it up and like spread it out, or did it go out?
It doesn't look like it's gone out. It doesn't look like the frag grenade spread out the fire or anything like that. It definitely looks like a directed heat, and it's difficult to make out because all you're looking at is the glow kind of filtered through all the dust particles. But the frag grenade doesn't seem to have affected it, even though it landed directly on it.
UV and infrared. Can the drone see through the dust?
Let me see.
Actual smoke, it should be able to see through it.
Yep, I think it will because you'd have to have I think IR chaff in most systems in order to full advanced drone sights. So yeah, I didn't think of that before, but you probably could aim the drone over and look through the dust. Pete could give Simo a layout of what's going on down there. And yeah, so Pete, if you happen to Simo could tell Pete this, and Pete could.
Yeah, Simo tell Pete to fly the drone over here. Actually, it doesn't even have to fly it over here. You can just zoom it in because it can see up to 2 kilometers away.
Yep. Yeah. So
just zoom it in over here.
Yeah. So Pete, if you look through the drone sights, you can see it looks like there's a big pile that's burning. It looks like there's just a glow emanating when you're looking at it through dust particles, but when you look at it with thermal vision, it actually looks like a direct, like a pillar of fire that's just emanating out of this pile pile of stuff that's been collected. Like there's some type of demolition charge or something that's been placed there to burn it, and you see at the very edge of your vision, you can make out 4 figures that are moving southeast from Simo's position, and they're almost out of the dust at this point.
Is that something I can tell him now, or do I have to wait till my next turn?
You could. I mean, this is probably free action type stuff because it's not really, it didn't require a notice roll or anything. You just use the drone sights, which you're already have an eye on.
So moving this way.
Yeah, I'm going to tell him the burning is just the charge set the. Is it just burning the bodies of the ones who died?
Yep, it looks like piles, like the bodies have been piled up, and then a thermal charge has been put on top of them to melt them.
I'm going to stand up and use a double move and give chase. I'm going to try to do it stealthily, though. Following them.
All right.
Do I get any bonus from the smoke?
Yep, you get a +2 on your sneak. Yep, and they can't really pay attention at all in the smoke. So, yeah, you get pretty close to them. You get to the point where you can make out their figures in the fog as you're starting to catch up to them. But that'll require a double move, and so you're hidden and just within vision of them, basically.
Alright, yeah, I'll double move.
Alright, give me just a second to figure out the speed here on these.
The question now is, do we want to just finish them off? Or do you want me to use my radio to send another message to the Australians and tell them 4 of their high priority targets are wounded, heading southeast from the village if they want to scoop them up while they're hurt? Because they did say they would. That dead's fine, but good alive would be better.
I mean, I'm going to try to
cut them off. Because it's pretty soon I'm not even going to be able to take shots at them. Yeah, because they were almost out of the smoke. And I can't even get to that edge of the smoke.
Yeah, you can go ahead and radio them in. Radio it in. So we've engaged, we've killed, what, about half of them so far?
Yeah, probably about half of them.
Yeah,
we've killed about half of them. They're we'll be heading south in 3, I guess, light APCs or light armored cars or whatnot. Four of the HVTs will be wounded and with them.
Yep, and there will probably be some minor mop-up stuff that'll need to be done, but since it's getting pretty late, I think we might be able to call it here if you guys want, or if you want to handle like 1 or 2 more things.
I mean, if we're just gonna call it in, we can get through that pretty quick next time.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
I'm also going to point out that we have at least 8 confirmed hostages freed.
And if they bug out, I can go through and start rescuing the rest of the hostages while you keep an eye on our northern friends.
There's still 9 of the irregulars on the northeast side of town in the buildings and smoke. Or if you want to just keep following the 4 veterans, just so we can keep tabs on their location.
I'm going to keep following them, at least, because I'm assuming the armored cars are going to come down here and pick them up. That's what I'm assuming. Keep following them.
Cars, but do you have any demo charges you could set up in the road?
Yeah, I've still got 8 demo charges.
Would stacking the demo charges do anything to help the damage on them, or no?
It'd probably be, if you wanted to turn it into 1 charge, I'd probably come up with some sort of diminishing returns thing like they have in Rogue Trader. But just having even 2 separate charges, one after the other, would do pretty well. You just have to roll above 8 damage and you'd start, hurting the vehicle. And the demo charge is 3d10, so it is possible that it could bounce right off, but you also have a pretty good shot. Like on a good roll, you could take one of them out. But yeah, something for next time, I could definitely think of a way of combining the charges and getting like say if you put on another charge, it'd be like 3d10 plus 2, and then another one would be 3d10 plus 4, something like that.
If I take demolition skill, I can also start making shaped charges.
You need fix, I think, to do shaped charges.
So my plan right now is if the cars are going to pick them up, they've got to stop to do it, so I can just charge over there while they've got their doors open. Because they're wanted dead or alive, so.
Think about how much more appreciative they'd be if we at least got one alive to get a lot more info out of an alive man.
Yep.
And also I could try to shoot one in the leg. And so they'll either have to pick him up and carry him or leave him behind. So either way, we can still get live ones.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that they're really rules light on this kind of stuff, which kind of annoys me. But that's the kind of thing that I think you could actually benefit with a cold shot. If you shoot someone in the leg, you take that -2 for the cold shot they have in the rules. Then even if they go negative HP, you can easily, more easily stabilize them. I guess I should say. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's getting pretty late, so I think I'll have to call it for tonight.
Hell, even at full health, getting shot in the leg with a shear rifle, hell, it'd still fucking cripple you from what it does.
So you might just
Like your leg just literally falls apart. Fuck.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't care how many hit points you got. If your leg falls apart, you're not going anywhere. Because with a shear rifle, muscle is being destroyed, bones being destroyed, tendons are being destroyed. It's straight up fucking cripple you.
Yep. All right. Yeah. But anyway, I'm
good with stopping here and picking it up next time.
Yep. All right. Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good session. We can get into some pretty cool stuff, I think, as we continue on with the next few sessions. All right. Well, I guess I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for the game.
See ya.